Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hello.
Just me and Jen here for right now. Jason will be here shortly.
Until the time comes.
I am going to try something, and it might involve people getting really mad, like Jason. But we're gonna do it anyways.
Wait.
Okay, hold on. Let me preface this by saying,
do I need to convince you that it's a bad idea?
No.
Okay.
It's a thing that is not. It's gonna upset him, or make him make fun of me. It is not a thing that is not allowed.
Okay. All right. So he's not gonna get mad.
I mean,
He might get mad.
if it leads to me repainting stuff, maybe.
I'm just trying to help you here. I don't want you to have to deal with the wrath.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. What's up, Tim? How's it going?
Is it ever a Monday? Uh-oh. Too long of a story to tell why. Well, you can't come in and say, is it ever a Monday? But I'm not going to tell you why.
Yeah, that's so mean.
It is very unfair.
All right. So, we're going to try painting these guys with regular metallics and see if my life is feeling better.
Well, of course it will. It's going to be so much faster.
I know. That's why I was like, I think we're just going to
mad.
do this. I think we're just going to do it.
It's a good way to show the power of our metallic paint.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And I paint a lot of non-metallic.
Although you might get mad that
so.
you're starting with silver.
It's fine.
Broken Chef, what's up?
What up, everyone? How are you
was the
doing
weekend?
Today?
My weekend was fine. Nothing
Acceptable. You had an
exciting
acceptable weekend.
one way or the other. Came here on both Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But got some good work done, so hopefully.
Like you were in the office here on Saturday and
Yep.
Sunday? Wow. A lot of days on the weekend to be here.
Yeah. Sometimes it's got to be done.
It's true.
Lumberjack Tim said they didn't put one of the stops that was loaded on my trailer as well appointment. Not only that, but it was loaded with an appointment.
That was a lot of French.
Oh, great. So what I'm interpreting, because I know you're driving and I want you to be safe, but it sounds to me like there was a load in your trailer that you didn't know about, and so you missed a stop.
Oh yeah,
and
would
that
suck.
there was another load in there as well, and maybe that caused some problems. As an appointment. Got that. Okay. They didn't put one of the stops that was loaded on the trailer as an appointment. Always have multiple stops. You had 5, but it should have been 6. Okay, so they missed one. So you have stuff in there and you didn't know. Did you know where it's supposed to go? Or you probably can't just like assume, right? You have to have the documentation. Something Baby J may relate to. Went to the Puyallup. Is that how you pronounce that?
It's Puyallup.
Huh?
Puyallup.
Puyallup.
Yeah.
Okay, that's close.
It is not pronounced at all the way that it.
No, I know, and I've been there, and I've done some work in that area, and never really knew how to spell.
Yeah,
how to pronounce
it's
it.
Puyallup.
Puyallup.
Puyallup. Puyallup.
Wasn't on the schedule. Bummer. And
That's
so you
cool.
probably just have to leave it in your truck then, huh?
Just get it redelivered the next day or
Yeah.
something.
Is it like that? We were just talking about how the post office
We
tried to
were
deliver
actually.
something
That's
here
so
and
funny.
No one was
Yeah.
here.
I asked the guy on Friday. I was like, "Is there a way that I can get this rerouted to my apartment that's like a block away, or pick it up or something?" He's like, "Unfortunately, no."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, well, I guess on Monday it is."
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe I don't get it.
UPS, I think, reroutes, but I don't think USPS.
Yeah, sometimes they give you like the ability to like reroute
Yeah.
stuff. Sometimes they don't.
Death Spawn is here, alive. Did a painting of white. Ooh ah.
Ooh ah, ooh ah. Sugi's 5,000. What is your secret sauce for zombie flesh? Red, gray, or faded green to flesh tones? Any advice? You can build up with like yellow greens and then do like olive flesh on top. The hammer in here somewhere. And then you can like glaze with purples and reds. This is a pretty good way to do it. Like you started with like a dark burgundy maybe, and then you went yellow, green, olive flesh in that progression. That would look really nice. And then do like a wash of something, like a flesh wash or something over that. Pick out the highlights with your olive flesh would look really good. I like this workup a lot. I think it would look cool.
Tim, were you planning on making it home tonight? It sounds kind of like you were, and that's a big bummer.
All right. So we are going to. Seems great, I think. So I'm trying to mix a base for yellow cloth that's like on the cooler side. So I'm taking dark golden brown and Payne's gray, and I'm going to mix them for my base coat.
Interesting.
We're going to end up with like a dark green color. Yeah, I realized over the weekend, Jen, I was like, I really want to get these things done in a reasonable amount of time. And I want them, but I still want them to like look nice.
Yeah.
And I think that doing true metallics with like washes and stuff will be the quickest way to get them to that point. Which is why I decided to go this route.
I've done. I mean, I've painted non-metallic a couple of times. One time, I feel like it was pretty successful. What I normally do if I paint metallics is like a cheat, where I paint all of the opaque colors underneath that I would maybe use for non-metallic, and then just do a really thin layer of metallic on top of it.
That's
so you can still see all of the different,
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
that's a really interesting approach to it. I've never done that before.
I learned it from Jason. Of course, I learned everything from him. Despon said, I will say I did not like painting white. Tried to do brush, ended up doing airbrush, and then had to try to paint the rest, and I was shaky, so I got all the colors on my white. Oh, bummer.
Yeah, that's the tricky part about it. It's definitely a good challenge for the month.
Did you contact us at support about that, Deathspawn? I can't remember. I know we've talked about it before. But if you haven't sent a message with pictures or anything, then it's hard for us to help you.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
hope ya.
Despon,
Have you been talking to him?
well, no, I haven't gotten.
Any messages about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Send pictures. Support at Monument Hobbies.
If you're listening.
You just wrote it, so I assume he's listening.
Well, remember last time
Oh, yeah,
he's like,
that's
"Hey, tell me about this thing,"
And then walks
and
away
Despons was like, "Oh no, I missed it." It's like, "What? What do you mean? We just responded to it." The bad habits of Despon. Yeah, that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of, Jake the Baron. Why it does not cover for Despon. Because it is covering for everybody else really well. So
figure it out. You're about to miss out on getting some help is what you're missing.
yep, it's true. It's very true. We're building up this into the dark golden brown.
Cloudy and rainy is a good Monday weather though, I think. Fitting.
Oh,
It'd be
so
kind of annoying if you were having a Monday and it was like all sunny and happy outside. Be like,
I'd always prefer to have my Mondays be rainy and dreary. Like an appropriate start to the week. I got all the ingredients to make Japanese curry last night. I'm very excited to make it tonight.
how about strawberry shortcake?
No, I opted to pass on it.
Did you see it though?
I didn't go to the grocery store. I got stuff
Oh.
delivered.
You what?
I got stuff delivered,
Oh, okay.
which was definitely more expensive, but I got a lot of groceries. I was tired. It was Sunday, and I was just like, I don't want to carry all this stuff to my apartment. Like, I'll just pay somebody else to do it.
Oh my god.
It was a lot of groceries. I spent like $200 on groceries. It was like a lot of stuff. But I'll have food for a while, which is good.
Baby J just reminded you of the 40-year-old virgin? What did he say?
What on earth did I say to remind you of that? Did I remind you of Steve Carell, or did I remind you of the situation? I hope it was the former. The other has to be there to suffer through it. That's so funny. Was it Defrost over? Okay.
Crossed over.
I was like, I can hardly read that name. That blue is terrible.
I'm not a fan of grocery shopping. Jason is less of a fan. And
Yeah.
not fun to take to the store. So I suck it up and go by myself.
Jason's not fun to have at the store?
Not tremendously.
Got it, okay.
I convince him sometimes to go to Trader Joe's because I'm like, I want
Trader
you there
Joe's is
because
fun,
we gotta
though.
pick up. It is. It's more
Yeah.
fun. But when we get when we walk in, he's in charge of the cart. I don't like pushing a cart. So if there's another person with me, they're always gonna push the
Okay,
cart.
fair.
He gets the cart. He takes off. I don't see him.
What?
I'm like, okay. The point.
Yo, I need the
is
cart.
yeah. No, I have stuff. I need to put it in the cart. Yeah, we always get separated in Trader Joe's.
Oh my goodness.
Because he just doesn't. I don't think he has the patience. He just
Yeah.
wants to go and get the stuff and
Yeah.
But at Trader Joe's, I like to look at stuff because they
Yes.
always have new stuff. They always
Yeah.
have unique things. So yeah.
That's a very
But if I went by myself to Trader Joe's, I feel like he would get mad. I didn't get the
because
right
he's like,
stuff.
ooh, I want to get stuff. Yeah. You're losing on.
I
both
am
fronts
a
there, Jen.
very strict list shopper as well, Tim. And that's another thing that makes it difficult to shop with Jason at the regular store because I like to have my list. I have a plan because I don't like it. I don't like going. So I have to go in with a purpose and a plan.
I put a shopping list together.
Yeah.
When I
just
went.
use the app.
And then I was like, I'm just gonna order this. So I just put all the stuff on the list. And then I ended up ordering a bunch of extra stuff.
I'm not.
But I got really, really nice and exciting breakfast stuff. Wow,
Cool.
that was terrible speaking English. I got like a bunch of like berries and like strawberries and blackberries, and they didn't have blueberries for some reason, which is weird. So I need to go to Safeway. So I got all that. I got some Greek yogurt and I got some granola. So I'm gonna
Make some parfaits.
I'm gonna have that for breakfast.
Do you and you get fresh fruit?
Yeah.
Frozen.
Huh?
I always buy frozen.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Unless like apples or something, like oranges or something, but like blueberry and berries always frozen
Interesting.
because I never eat them fast enough.
Oh, I mean,
And
I'm
they're
gonna eat
just
them
as good.
pretty quick. Yeah.
They're just as like they don't lose any of the nutritional value when you
Yeah.
freeze them. So fruits and vegetables we get frozen. See, for us, that's awesome. Congratulations. But yeah, that's our thing with Trader Joe's is that it's our snack food shopping for the most part. We
Yep.
buy snacks, cookies, all their good sweet stuff, which is where I get like, okay, I want to look at like their meal stuff, like the real food.
Yeah.
That's what
they
makes
have
it
good
difficult to go
meal
there
food.
together.
Been a long time since I've shopped at a Trader Joe's. I don't usually go super often. My problem is when I get it in my head to like make food, I always want to do like really complicated stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'll be like, ooh, I want to do like Japanese curry, or I want to do with like chicken katsu, right? So I have to like deep fry stuff and do
Yeah.
all this, and and it's just like, okay, Jordan, why are you making it so complicated for yourself?
I don't have the energy for all that.
Well, and the worst part too is I didn't even buy like boneless, skinless, like chicken thighs.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought them bone in. I was just like,
Oh.
this stuff is way cheaper to buy
Yeah,
bone in.
it
It
is.
was like $1 and change a
Yeah.
pound, and I was just like, I will have tons of chicken for all of the things that I need.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just do it. I'll just burn a Monday night, doing all this stuff, and then
Did you go to any restaurants for restaurant week?
I did not.
No.
No, I had a lot of stuff that I had to like shell out cash for.
Mm-hmm.
This month, so I'm trying to curb how much spending I'm doing. Especially with like buying a whole bunch of groceries and stuff. A lot of it too is like me just like refilling on necessities, right? Like things that I should have in my refrigerator, which I don't have.
Yeah.
So it's like expensive. Every time I go to the grocery store, it's really expensive. Because I don't have a lot of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need spices because I have
Yeah.
some spices, but I don't have all of them.
Yep.
Like I needed to get panko breadcrumbs because the ones that I had were stale and needed to be thrown away. So I was just like, all right, well, I guess I'm just biting the bullet and dealing with this. But I got a lot of ingredients that I can use for a lot of different things. Some like relatively healthy breakfast stuff, which is good. I don't even have a blender.
You don't have a blender?
I don't have a blender.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, oh, maybe I just make like smoothies or something. And I was like, I don't have a blender.
Oh.
Should probably resolve that problem at some point.
Blenders are easy. You don't have to get anything fancy.
Yeah. But I like to, when I buy like stuff like that, I have a tendency to want to buy like really nice quality versions of it, so I don't have to ever buy one again.
Well, sure, but a blender, I mean, like you can get a decent blender that is not like a NutriBullet, fancy Vitamix.
That's the thing, is like that's the one I would want to buy.
Well,
like when I bought my rice cooker, I bought, I don't know if you're familiar with like the echelons of like rice cookers.
I am not.
For those of you out there who are, I bought a nice Zojirushi rice cooker. It's the one that like does a little jingle when you cook it.
Know.
Anyways, it's funny, that brand of rice cooker like has like a jingle that it does when you press the cook button. And of course all the instructions are all in like Japanese or translated Japanese, so it's just like doesn't make sense. So it took me like 3 or 4 times before I was like, oh, just press the button. It won't tell you anything, but it is cooking. Just leave for like 45 minutes, and then it'll be done.
Yeah,
so,
Tim, I'm with you. My rice cooker is a pot of boiling water. I just make it right on the
I'm going to be
stove.
honest with you. The rice cookers are literally just so much better.
Why?
Because it takes, like, you
Just
literally...
said it takes 45 minutes. Doesn't take that long to cook rice.
Yeah, but it's set it and forget it.
I
You-
can
you
set
literally-
it for,
I literally go,
I put my
rice,
rice in a pot
boop,
with water.
Water,
And I turn it on.
close the button, hit a button.
When it boils, I put a lid on it. I turn it all the way down, and I forget it.
That's too much work.
Oh, is it the same? It's the same amount of work.
Too much work. Too much work.
Exactly the same amount of work.
And then you have to like clean the lid, and you gotta do all that stuff. So much easier.
Okay.
It's nice. It's nice.
All right.
I love myself a rice cooker.
I'm glad.
It makes my life so much easier. Baby J is definitely correct. Despot Instant Pot is great. It is this. Using an Instant Pot to make rice is the same thing as cooking it in a stove. Like it's that much extra work. Because the Instant Pot, like, you gotta like turn it in, you gotta do the thing, and then when you clean the lid, you gotta like take it apart and clean all the stuff. It's like the rice cooker, you literally just go rice, thing, water, wash, rinse, put it in the thing, close the lid, press a button. It's so easy.
Well, of course, if you put anything on your stove and forget it, it's going to burn. You have to pay attention to what you're doing, but I don't have to stand over the pot for 45 minutes. I turn it on and I set a timer because I'm a responsible adult.
Yes. I love how we're having an argument about rice cookers versus stovetop rice, and it's great. It's making me very happy.
I'm very much apparently old-fashioned.
I don't think
I
it's
go to
that
the grocery store. I don't get my groceries. I can't get my groceries. I don't even like to do the pickup. I've been trying. Like I tried to do the grocery pickup.
Hey, somebody likes
like
us.
where I
like
order
it.
ahead and
Yeah.
I pull into the parking lot and I just wait for them to put it in my car.
Yeah.
And it's fine. But like if I'm buying like bananas, I'm very particular about my bananas and I don't trust anybody else to pick out my bananas
I
for
can
me.
respect that.
So,
yes.
If I'm buying
100%.
and like a head of lettuce, I want to be able to look at the lettuce and choose my
Yep.
lettuce. It's mostly the produce that I'm concerned about with
You know which stores have the most ridiculously good quality produce I've ever seen?
Whole Foods.
Asian supermarkets.
Oh, yeah.
I
there's
don't know
none
why.
Close. Have to
I
go
don't
all
know
the-
why.
We'd have to go all the way to Mesa for that.
I don't know why that is, but every Asian supermarket that I've ever been to has like the nicest produce I've ever seen. Compared to like Safeway or Fred Meyer or Fry's equivalent.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how much better it is. It's
Yeah.
just like literally you could just like pick something random up and it's good.
Okay, I am no longer able to talk to you people if you can't cook a pot of rice on the stove.
I haven't done it in ages, but that doesn't mean that I can't do it.
There are all these people saying that they're not responsible adults. I don't know how to have a conversation with you anymore if you're
I mean,
not
I'm
responsible.
barely a responsible adult. I'm responsible enough to have a job, which means that I'm responsible enough to be able to learn how to cook my own rice if I want to. I elected to just spend a unreasonable amount of money on a nice rice cooker and then just never have to worry about it. Boom, boom, boom. We're switching to green cloth because I am lazy. In fact, I'm gonna go turn the airbrush on. We're gonna make this even easier. I'm just gonna... Army paint. Which means it will probably get finished.
Well, that's good. It just popped open when you opened the other
I
one.
need to talk to Carter about it.
I'm sure he can do that.
Like, I have some experience on how to fix it, but it is that door is weird. So
I have no experience in fixing doors, so I'm not even gonna try and guess what could be causing it. Your monument paints were delivered today. Is that a good enough excuse to leave work early?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Unless you're working here, in which case,
Then
no. You are not allowed to leave work early for the... Should have had your paints a long time ago. Any chance in seeing the fluorescent? The other... I mean, I guess they are technically transparent.
Kind of. They won't be called fluorescent transparent.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Not to my knowledge.
No. Do you have them, or do you want to wait for Jason?
Yeah, I mean, we can wait for Jason on that one. I don't really have anything that I would use it on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me sort... Oh, I do actually have something that I could use it on. But let me finish this. If you can hang out and wait for a little bit. And then yes, I'll look into doing that. Because I do have something that I can do it on.
And Gabe said if I bought every paint in the building, then we could all go home early. That is true. Yeah.
Yep. You'd basically be buying the company. Which would be an expensive endeavor.
Matt-O-Matic has to leave for work in an hour, but we'll be here until then for sure.
Okay, cool.
We will try and get
it will not take me that long
before
yeah.
you leave.
Here's a good question for you, Jen.
Yeah.
What color should I do the glowing pot on this guy?
The what? The glowing pot? Oh,
Yep. I'm gonna do fluorescence on it. So.
Oh, okay.
For the glow.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, my go-to is always pink, like Gabe said, but
yeah, I
don't know if that's really what you want.
I could do fluorescent and do magenta.
Pink and purple. That's always my first choice. Broken Chef, yes, we've got some samples here that Jason's been checking out. They won't show as true fluorescent necessarily on camera. They just doesn't show as great as when you look at it in real life. So everything that you see when we show them, just imagine it much brighter. James Knight Studio, thank you. He said if I had stupid money, I would buy the company and just fund you guys. I would not interfere at all. Just want y'all to stay around forever. Well, we want to stay around forever too. Hopefully.
Yeah, we don't want to go anywhere. I like my life. Don't make me change it.
Insantium just got an Iwata airbrush a few days ago, and my
Nice.
gosh, it's 100 times better than the cheap one I had. My only question is, how often do you do a deep clean on it? Like, take everything apart and clean it?
Once a month. Once every couple of weeks. Depends on how much you use it. The airbrush will tell you when it needs to be cleaned.
That's true.
It does a good job of being like, hey, I'm not gonna work for you anymore. I know you really want to airbrush with me right now, but no. How about no? We're just not gonna do that.
Howdy, T. Schmidt.
Oh, what's up, T. Schmidt? Hello. Good morning. And by good morning, I mean good afternoon.
When the airbrush starts to whistle, it needs cleaning. Richard needs, we have an accountant. And where are we going? We're not going anywhere, I don't think.
Y'all need an accountant yet?
Any tips on keeping it cleanish between uses and while using it? Clean it out.
Well, I can show you what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Rinse everything out of the pot.
So, yeah, I just take a brush and I scrub on the inside of this to get all the paint out of there. Then I pour it out, and then I'll typically spray the excess onto a paper. See how it's still putting out chunks of paint? Means it's not clean enough. So what I'll do is I'll add some water to this, and I will. Oh, I can zoom out. Right, this makes this way easier. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll pull I'll unscrew the needle and I'll pull it back and I'll press down. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I gotta get like
there
up
we go.
here. I'll press down on air and I'll pull the needle back. This gets a little bit more water flowing through there, and it agitates some of the paint that's up in here, which is where most of that gets stuck. And you'll see it's a lot less paint coming through now. It's still dirty, but there's a lot less of it coming through. So let's do that one more time.
Yeah, Matt, this is it's a Grex airbrush. The standard grip is green. This is our custom black. I believe it has an M on it somewhere.
And I'm gonna spray in here. Get a lot of that extra paint out of there. We're getting close. The problem with airbrushes is paint kind of gets everywhere.
Is it different with primer? Because I feel like I've never had to do that before when I've primed. I only prime with the airbrush.
I mean, I'm really finicky about getting it like pretty darn clean when I'm done. Like I want it to spray pretty much clear.
Yeah, I usually get it to.
Yeah, I don't know. It whatever, for whatever reason, it just likes to stick in the brush for me. I'm not doing anything weird. Just likes to stay. Very bizarre. Okay.
Defrost over. I think it will depend on what's happening. Defrost over said, how much airbrush thinner do you use with Pro Acryl paints in an airbrush?
None.
Yeah, we don't really use them here.
I don't use any. None whatsoever.
Water.
Yeah.
A little bit. But I think it depends on like the climate that you're in. It depends on the technique, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Broken Chef wants to know the needle size.
I believe it's 3.5 or 0.3.
I think it's 0.3.
It is 0.3.
Jake, awesome. Glad to hear that it's working out for you. Our primer is a little bit lighter.
The lighter
the
urethane.
Polyurethane.
Yeah.
So it's a little easier to clean out of the airbrush for sure.
It's a lot easier.
A lot easier.
Having used other
That's true.
primers,
You've used.
it is
sure, a variety of
significantly easier to clean
Yeah.
out. Yeah, I've used all sorts of other primers, and I can definitely assure you that ours is the easiest to clean up. All right, sounds good for that.
T. Schmidt wants to know how you like the rubber trigger grip.
It's fine. Yeah, I have no problems with it. It's definitely a little bit to get used to for me, because I'm not used to having, you know, the like thickness of the grip, so that takes a little bit of getting used to for sure.
No, not our primer, Clark. You don't ever want to thin our primer.
Yeah, our primer is designed to work the way it is right out of the bottle.
Jake, we haven't talked about any different styles of brushes. That doesn't mean that it'll never happen. But currently, the brushes that we have are what we'll continue to have.
All right. And now I'm done. I think I'm gonna go for like a super desaturated green on these guys. I think it'll look really nice with the browns and the silver and the kind of brass bronze.
He did say he was going to probably repaint it. Are you repainting?
Oh, 100%. I
Yeah.
just did. Yeah. Yep.
Yes, he is.
Yep. I kept the face though, because I like how the face turned out. But if I need to repaint over a little bit of it, that's fine.
James Knight Studio said, I just got home from my local shop. I was one of the people that convinced him to put your paints on the shelf. So for everyone
Cool.
in DFW, Texas Toy Soldier, you're welcome.
Why?
Well, we appreciate you as well. Thank you for the positive recommendation. And Santium said, advice for painting faces on 32mm models. It's where I struggle the most. Getting good shadows and highlights that make sense on such a small model.
Exaggerate them a little bit. I think a lot of people try to focus on like getting a really like natural, like soft blend on skin at that scale, and it's a lot easier much of the time to, you know.
Is that this size of model?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is actually a little bit smaller, but you can see how I really exaggerated the shadows and the highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Added a lot of warmth. It just makes it like read from far away better. So that's the general idea.
I think that's the what do you call it, like the 3-foot test?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at it from far, because
that is exactly
you're not
it.
really going to be picking it up and looking at it
No.
that closely in a game.
Okay. Well, time to paint some stuff.
And reading glasses can be a game changer. If you are not using anything.
That's what they say. What they keep telling me.
I convinced Jason of that as soon as I started painting. Like, I can't see this stuff. I got some readers.
And now you can see the stuff.
Now I can see the stuff.
So I like starting off with brighter silver, and I like working it down instead of working from darker silver and going up. This is a very different way than the way that Jason likes to do it. So you'll get to see a little bit of both sides of the coin.
That's awesome. Richard Needs wants to know how our weekends were. Mine was uneventful.
Mine was very quiet. I did nothing. I went and ordered groceries.
Yeah.
That was the functional extent of my weekend. Which made it good. I can't complain about that kind of weekend.
We are going to be restocking some of our brushes this week, just an FYI.
Very cool.
So I was getting all prepared for that. If you have an interest in our brushes, I highly, 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 highly recommend going to our website. I just posted the link there. Go into the brush tab, pro brushes, and then for any size that you have an interest in, open up that page, put your email address in for a restock notification. That way you get an alert as soon as they're available. They're going to go quick again, just like they did last time. And yeah, we don't want you to miss out. Lion Creative said I painted my challenge model and hate it. What? Might either redo it or choose a different model.
Well, you got plenty of time.
Yeah, what's today?
It's the 11th.
Oh.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Not even halfway through the month.
Yep. The anniversary of 9/11 today.
No.
So, been a while. 22 years.
That's crazy.
Time.
You were just a kid.
Yeah. I remember it though. I remember because
like
my dad
grade?
worked for an airline, and my mom worked in travel. So I mean, it was like big deal.
Big deal. Yeah. You were what, like in third-ish grade, probably?
Well, I don't know.
Third or fourth?
I was
8 years old.
8 at the time. So whatever. Yeah. And then a couple of years after that, my parents ended up losing their jobs as a result of all the fallout from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's just nobody wanted to travel. Nobody felt safe
to
travel, so they just didn't.
I was teaching 5th grade at the time.
You were teaching 5th grade at the time?
5th grade, yeah. And so they were just at about the age where they knew kind of something bad was going on.
Yeah.
Some of them, this was really sad, we would have the TV on at school and talk about it, and there were kids who thought that it was a movie because they'd seen so many buildings blowing up in movies and stuff like that.
Yep.
So they were watching the footage and thought it was an action movie. And I remember when one of them, it hit him that it was real. He's like, those people are real? Like this, they're not, this isn't a movie.
Those people are dying.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because he would see the people running in the streets with like covered in ash and stuff, and laughed at it at first. I'm like, wait a minute, like let's make sure we understand and talked him through it, and just
the moment when it hit, and he's just like, oh, it's like, no, this is bad stuff.
Yep. And I was at a fairly high profile school at the time, and in downtown, and so we were on lockdown pretty much the whole week.
Yeah.
Just because who knew what was happening?
Yeah, I know exactly.
It was pretty crazy.
I don't think anybody knew.
Yeah.
I mean, everything just shut down, right? Like, all travel shut down completely. they needed to figure out, how it had happened, who did it, why, and it took a few years before things started really like getting back to some semblance of travel again, and it was never the same.
Yeah. The Sam Lens weapon rack, we will have a very, very, very limited number. Like, very limited, because we don't have all of the sizes, so we're kind of working with missing the synthetic 6s. We don't have those completed yet, so we have some, but very few. So that'll be one for sure. You're going to want to be right on top of that one if you get that notification. Sugies, is it Sugies? I want to say Shuggies. Teaching high school at the time. Yeah, it was a weird time to be a teacher.
Yeah, I think I was actually in 4th grade.
4th?
Yeah, I think I was in 4th. Because I remember like you did with your students having a conversation about it at school.
Because they just had so many questions. So many questions.
Well, it's like we didn't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were young enough that like we knew that something had happened. We didn't quite know exactly who, what, or why.
Yeah.
But what we did see is we saw all the parents freaking out about it, right?
Yeah.
All the adults are going crazy and being like, "Oh my god,"
Yeah.
right? And that freaks the children out because they're like,
right. Yeah.
That's the person who's supposed to know what's going on.
You're supposed to be calm and cool.
And that person's freaking out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely one of those, like, I remember it. I remember sitting on my dad's bed watching the news in the morning and him being, like, on phone calls.
Yeah.
Phone call.
Yeah.
Because he ran operations out of San Francisco for Alitalia. So, like, any flights
Major
that
airport.
he had coming in,
Yeah.
like, that was all big stuff that he had to deal with. So it was interesting, like, seeing it from that perspective as well was really interesting. Not very comfortable, but interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some colors laid down on this guy. And we're going to mix up like a mix of Payne's Gray and Warm Brown. And we're going to mix this into a nice kind of like colorful gray that we're going to shade all this armor with. Putting it on pretty thin. And we go a little heavier underneath this kind of knuckle of the armor there. Go back into here. Underneath these flat parts. So now that I've kind of added a lot of that shading in there, do a little bit on here, shoulder. Welcome back, Tim. And this nice shading on all this metal. And then I'm going to grab the silver again. And we're going to push some of these highlights back in. We're gonna do some lines on the edges of the armor. Sharpen that back out.
Tim, that sounds like Phoenix. Started raining and people are driving like there's a foot of snow on the ground.
Yep.
People here don't know.
Well, to be fair, the last time I was out and it was raining outside, I could not see the lines on the street.
It's
so
yeah, it's.
I understand how people can sometimes get a little. And then that one time I couldn't see the lines on the street. Some dude was in the middle of the freaking street. I almost hit a guy.
Standing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, you know how people will like walk across, they'll sit in the suicide lane and then they'll walk. I almost hit a guy. Because I literally couldn't see him until he was at my front quarter panel. And I was just like, oh my God.
Slayer Street has a non-metallic question.
Yeah.
Had a hand at some armor this weekend and was going for kind of a coppery effect. Ended up with more of a bone-looking. We probably will need to know what you used. Ended up with more of a bone-looking armor. Still cool, but not what I was going for. Probably need more orange and red. Again, we probably need more information to know what colors you did use.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Using when you're doing copper, you want to start from like a burnt sienna and work your way up to like yellow ochre, and then go with like a more peachy highlight from there. You don't want yellow in it, and even then I would probably mix that yellow ochre with some of that burnt sienna, and then I would add white. Dust Spawn, yes, you can. It will just look like really reflective painted, like paint. Like the color is partially what sells it. Yeah, I like how this silver's looking. Darker silver here.
Slayer Street started with a kind of a chocolate brown base, worked up to an ochre. Sounds like base wasn't red enough, maybe?
Yeah.
If you're starting with burnt sienna.
Alright, now we're gonna do this gold really quick. Oh, I know what I want to do.
It does take a lot of practice, Dust Spawn. That's for sure. And I would say that it's one of those things where you feel like you want to give up and you need to go just a little bit further. Would you say that for someone new to non-metallic, that you just keep going and going and going and you feel like, oh, I can't do this anymore, but it's really just going to be that one last
it all really comes together at the very end.
And it just instantly comes together.
I love this copper on here. The copper looks really cool. Do the copper on the armor too. The nice thing is this copper will show up really nice once I throw a wash on here.
Broken Chef, I think I missed your question. Broken Chef wanted to know what you used to shade.
The silver?
I think the silver.
Yeah, it was Payne's Gray and Warm Brown. Payne's Gray and Warm Brown was what I used. And this is very neat and replicatable, which is cool. Cloth will probably need a little bit of highlighting and shading, but that's easy to do after the fact with some glazes, with some like transparency or something. This trim looks really nice against the green with the copper. Got that just enough redness to kind of contrast really nicely.
It does. It looks really good with the green. Jake the Baron wants to know if you get offended when people call your minis toys.
No, I do not. When I tell people what I do for a living, I oftentimes will say I paint toy soldiers for a living.
They are toys.
They are toys.
Nothing to be offended by.
They are most definitely toy soldiers. I do not get offended by it because it is the truth. And the truth should not upset you. Because, you know, it is life.
I feel like it's accurate. They are toys.
Yep,
Whereas some
100%.
people spend money on like really expensive things and call them toys, like their cars. Like, oh, I got a new toy.
I got a new car.
That's not a toy. That's a very expensive.
Yeah, that's a very expensive thing you just bought.
Like my toys, actually toys.
I gotta start working on this shadow on the blade here.
I mean, Deathspawn, maybe you try kind of like what I was saying earlier, where you use not metallic, just regular colors and kind of block them in and put like really super high highlights on the highlight parts and then thin down your metallics and like kind of glaze them over the top. That I think is a good step toward non-metallic metal because it gives you that practice of seeing where the high points are. I'm sure I'm not explaining it very well, but that's how I prefer to paint metallics.
It just takes time too. Like, recognize that the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth time that you do it, it's not going to look great. Sorry. I've painted non-metallic metal a ton of times. In fact, I've painted it on this model a ton of times, and I've repainted it 3 times. And I decided to not go with non-metallic.
The non-metallic looked very much red metallic. That's not why you repainted it.
Yeah. I was not happy with the colors that I was getting in it. Whereas this is pretty much exactly what I was looking for. And I did this in like 30 minutes.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with using metallic paint.
No. I did one of those things where I bit off a little bit more than I could chew, as far as
somebody likes us.
My eyes were bigger than my mouth.
Yeah.
And bigger than the time that I have to work on this project. So I was like, okay, well, let's readdress what we're doing, and let's get it done. And it's still going to look really good. So.
Spark Minis, thank you for that follow.
Thank you for the follow.
Lumberjack Tim said it's got to be perfect the first time or I'm never doing it again.
Well, you will have a lot of...
It's going to be real hard to find a hobby.
Yeah.
If you got to be good at it right away. Yards Tony said, or wants to know, are Pro Acryl paints good at freehanding a texture effect? For example, could you make a cloak appear as if it were made out of scales?
Sure.
Could Jay the Younger perhaps demonstrate said scales on the cape? I don't think he'll paint scales on his cape for you.
No, I'm not going to do that. But yes, you can.
And I'm also wondering now, because of the scales, if this is a not a real question.
Scale jail. You're just trying to get me back into scale jail. I know you people. I know the way you think. I'm not going to be.
Sometimes I read a
tricked.
question out loud. I'm like, this isn't real. But
Yeah.
I don't get it until I'm reading it.
Jen caught you. Okay. And then for we're gonna start with bronze on the hilt here because I really like this kind of yellowy color and we want to keep it. I think I'm gonna freehand some like tree iconography on these guys. I think it'll be cool. I think it could look really neat. It's gonna be funny because this model is gonna be completely repainted and done by the time Jason gets back, and he's gonna be like, "What the heck just happened?" That model looked a lot different the last time you had it on camera. You're like, what are you talking about, Jason? It's been like this the whole time. Other hilt back here on his hip. And then, oh, I gotta do this thing. So I'm gonna do that in the copper. Okay. That looks cool. I like this. Now we gotta. This guy probably won't have a lot of that. Oh man, I really like how this non-metallic turned out on his helmet though. Oh well. Sucks to suck. Hello! I was about to say, where you been at? Well, welcome back.
Door that never closes.
I know,
We were talking about that.
I was talking about that earlier.
It sucks so bad because I brought my snacks and my water in here.
And you left him?
Oh, did you leave them in here?
Because I was getting ready for the show, so I brought all my snacks in here, and then my call took an hour.
No.
Oh no.
The whole time I'm like dry mouthing it, and I'm like, I really would like to have my snacks.
Snacks.
Hi, gang. Jen, stop giving away Evo bags. So you want to know how I know you're lying?
Because it's
This
Jen.
is Jen we're talking about, remember?
Very
Jen
stingy.
Jen doesn't give anything away easy. Hi, chat.
Are you going to paint?
I'm going to sit here and tease people for a second.
We're gonna comfy chair it up.
So I'm going to put You want me to put your camera on?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna tease him with real things.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, someone earlier was asking about fluorescence. Maybe you can show those, too.
Oh,
We
yeah.
never got around to that.
Oh yeah, we could show fluorescence off. We got all sorts of goodies to show off.
Uh-oh.
We got all sorts of stuff here. How was everybody's weekend?
Matt O'Matic said between the Pro Acryl and Vallejo airbrush metallics, I really like using metallic. Never tried non-metallic metal. I do like throwing a wash color, helps shade, so I can highlight more with warmer metallics. On that note, any suggestions on what colors to use to wash or tint metallics? I often go for a complement of another color on the model.
Kind of depends. Like what kind of environment you're going for. Because a lot of that shading is going to be like environmental light, or things from light reflecting off the environment into the metal. So if you're like in a warm place, you can use warm colors for that. If your model is in a dark and dreary environment, then you can use cooler colors. Using colors that are, complementary is also very smart. Those colors will naturally look really, really good together.
Is this tool something you're showing off?
Maybe. People have been asking us for years to do a pin vise setup. So we have finally tooled one, and we're very happy with it. We just got samples today. So the tool itself works very, very well. It's got a mid-size, for us, right, in the world of like jewelers chucks, it's got a 2-way chuck on it, so it'll hold, all the way down to like a micron. This is a full closure chuck on this side, so it'll hold like hair width bits, or if you're just holding a pin, like if you want to use it while holding a model, and then the other one will hold bits up to I think up to 2.5 mil, but it may only be a 2 mil bit holder, and then we can do a larger chuck for it too. Simple tool, easy, nothing fancy. It has a rotating ball grip on it.
Oh, that I like.
Right, so it allows us to. This will obviously be a branded bit. But
What is that thing?
Working out. What's that?
What is it?
It's a pin vise. It's called a
No,
pin
that
vise.
blue part.
It's a bit holder, right? So it's basically a little manual drill.
No, the blue part. What is the blue
That's
part?
just a handle. It rotates.
Oh, okay.
So the idea
Sits in the
is
palm of your
that,
hand.
like the larger ball-handled ones for jewelers, you grasp the ball and then you can twist the drill without. Notice how the ball doesn't turn,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
this
yeah,
does,
yeah. Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
Same thing here,
Okay.
right? It's just a little bit more fine, right? So you can twist this while your hand holds the positioning stable, right?
Aw.
So that you can push into the product, because obviously the problem when you want to push into the plastic or the resin or the metal and then you twist it, it's twisting against your hand that's
Right.
applying the pressure, and so it makes it wobble. So this just keeps it on target so that you can be applying pressure and be twisting the whole time while that back bit doesn't change. This is just in 3D printed right now just to check it. That's kind of fun. Simple tool that we've been looking at doing for a long time.
T. Schmidt said, will it hold the circuit board drill bits that have the chunky shafts and the tiny points?
No, but we could get I don't know if we could put a chuck inside that narrow tube that would do that or not, so we'd have to look at that, but I mean, we're going to sell the drill bit set too that'll come with the bit holder, so you won't have to worry about that.
Spark Minis did a 24-hour birthday stream this weekend. Happy birthday.
Happy
Hope
birthday
it went
to
well
you.
with the chaos. Oh, neat. I like seeing our name on stuff like that.
Ooh.
Neat little parts holder, or sponge dabber when doing sponging. for holding your sponge. So just a pair of forceps. Nice, simple, sleek stainless design. We have been revisiting some of the tool opportunities because at the end of the day, the real goal
Ooh, finally.
is to have our clippers back in stock, right?
That's very cool.
Yeah, you know what's even cooler?
They don't have that spring thing in the middle.
That's very cooler.
Yep.
A lot of people wanted the boxed head reduced so that it was shallower.
Yep.
And so we've gone in and reduced the box head on the clippers. If you remember our original clippers, and the new ones will have the same black handles, right? But the old ones were just a little bit more of a straight cut on the box, and much narrower.
Gotcha.
For angling into and longer cutting surface too.
Oh wow.
People had wanted a narrower point, right? It still has to blunt off so it doesn't go to pure sharp. You're not gonna stab. I mean, you could, but it's not, a pure point. But more of a sharp angle on everything, so you can dig it into the sprues or into, armpits to get sprue bits out. If you're cleaning up a 3D print, you can get these into spots to clip off the nubs a lot easier than the wider head that we used before.
Nice. I like it.
I love it.
Very nice. Yeah, and we got away from the internal spring, going with the jacket spring steel pins.
Tim says you just have to try harder to stab someone with.
Well, yeah, you have to have more momentum.
Let's just not stab people with products that we sell.
You're gonna have to have a little more momentum.
Monument Hobbies. Nothing we make is edible.
Nothing we make is edible, and you shouldn't stab people with it.
Weapons.
That's true.
Then we have fluorescent colors.
All right, Matt-O-Matic, are you here?
We have them laser etched right after polish. Memory Gardens. Because of the way you'll then oil the tool for shipping after that. So the etch needs to happen prior to the oil being applied. Otherwise, by the time we got them from shipping, they would be a real pain in the butt to etch. The blue won't see the light of day, so don't get used to that.
No.
We'll be adding a red to this batch, so you'll have a pink, a purple, orange, yellow, green, and red.
And remember, everything is much brighter than the way it looks.
Oh, like the camera can't even show you this orange at half of what it's showing me here in front of me. It's ridiculously bright.
Very, very, very bright.
The green does a very good job. That one shows up pretty good. It's still desaturated a little bit off of what it really is. Yeah. Fluoro colors.
Useless Wizard wants to know if blue is more troublesome.
Blue doesn't really, blue can give you the UV reactive portion of a fluorescent, but it doesn't give you the same brightness that the other colors do. It doesn't. As a pigment, it won't. It can give you the same reactivation so that under UV light it'll glow, right? Like black light, but we're not doing that with our paints anyway. So if you want glow-in-the-dark paints, our fluorescents are not for you. They will have a minimal amount, but we're engineering them so that they are not reactive to the UV like the standard fluorescents that you might find at the art store or something, because that's a chemical reaction that takes place, and what it does is it changes the composition of the paint over time, and so the more it comes in contact with UV, the more it desaturates. Eventually it doesn't do that at all. And we don't want our paints to desaturate on the model. So,
You're talking about like light fastness?
Yeah. Well, the UV reactiveness of those particular pigments is such that it gives you that glow in the dark.
Yeah.
Right? And we don't want that. It's not something that's tremendously useful for model painting. We get the shtick, but really what people are going for, I think, most of the time is just a color that's vibrant enough to pull off OSL and really give you that punch.
Yep. That's true.
Matt-O-Matic wants to know if they'll be used in the next 10-ish minutes.
Sure.
No. I mean, I'm not planning on using them right now.
I could. You
Jordan
really
has
want to see them?
Has a pot.
Jordan loves them. You don't have Masushi's model, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, do you? He used the fluorescent green on a Nurgle model he was doing as kind of a swampy glow. Holy crap.
Green.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yards Tony said, with enough velocity, any Monument Hobby product can be used to stab. It's all about force over the surface area of the point of contact.
Like I said, it's all about velocity. Force and velocity. An okay Guardian. Welcome. Yeah, they turned out great. And you just did white first?
Yeah. Yeah, I did
Transparent or
transparent.
Yeah, just transparent white that he airbrushed on the base from an upward angle. And then the fluorescent. So super simple to use and very bursty in vibrancy, like out of this world.
It's very different in person than
Bursty, yeah, it's nuts.
Do you have something where you could show the fluorescent green next to the bright yellow green as a comparison? Law Dog said, I love the bright yellow green.
Yeah.
That's tougher, but here's bright yellow green over the top of a model that I did, and then there's the fluorescent green over white. So not a true comparison necessarily, although this was zenithal first. But you can see the fluorescent green is punchier than the bright yellow green.
Is the camera the new toy, or is it a picture? Oh, the lens. Oh my gosh. What is that?
We have a new lens.
Heavy warm white?
And Gabe,
Well, that's a model.
Gabe got a
Oh my
new
gosh, I
toy.
thought
He
it
got
was-
his
I
new
thought it was
macro
pink.
lens for the camera.
Oh my gosh.
The fluorescents will be out by Adepticon.
Okay, yeah.
We're hoping they'll be out for the holidays.
That
PK.
looked like, yeah, it looked like a bucket of paint.
If I have it my way,
That's
they'll be
awesome.
out for the holidays this year. Now, I don't guarantee that. But... And hey, useless. I did not know. I did not recognize it was you asking that question. Shuggies is like casually starts 3D printing expansions to your paint rack. It's almost the end of the year. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, do that.
It's September something already. Where did this year go? I feel like we just released Signature Sets 1 like a month or so ago. And we've already been through Signature Set 2. This has been a heavy year for us, realize. We had the Go Bag Evo and 24 new colors hit this year along with the varnishes.
That's crazy.
Nuts, right?
That's insane.
We haven't had that active of a paint year in a long time. Probably not since launch. Maybe. I think expansions 1 and 2 came out the same year. New fiscal year starting soon. Let's just stick to regular calendars. The new travel pack? The Evo, I said. Go Bag Evo? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Doesn't the new fiscal year not start until like early 2024?
Well, fiscal year runs from July.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it July to
It's
June?
the 6 months ending end of year. It goes through the. It allows January to be in the middle.
Yeah,
Mary Gardens, what a time to be alive!
that's what I thought.
We live in such spectacular times.
Yeah, choices have to be made when it comes to taking paint with you in the go bag.
Yeah, we never say. We had a guy come up to us at Nova saying, "Okay, so what am I going to do to take the whole thing?" He goes, "I generally travel with about 200 or 250 paints." I'm like,
Good luck.
three
Go bags.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm not sure.
Or two and a
I'm not sure what the
Ziploc.
proper answer is to this, but but if you carry 3 go bags, we will write a story about you. For government, your fiscal starts October 1st. Now that's just
why is it
plain
all different?
stupid.
That's so weird. That doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Must be when budgeting gets approved.
Oh, I guess that makes sense, yeah.
Has to do something with budgeting, I would assume. Useless says, have you thought about going to smaller go bag for small hobby projects and a limited set of paints? Well, yes.
Yep.
You know,
I would
there
have
used
hoped
to
that
be a
last week I
thing-
could show you, but we've had a couple of issues with the previous sample, so I didn't want to show them off. But yeah, we have a small version of the Evo coming out.
We also had one that we sold for like 6 years.
Yeah, I realized that the go bag evolution, the Evo,
Evo is
is the growth outward of the original bag. We wanted to do that design because it has all of the features we wanted in a true travel bag, and then work back down to then scaling the old smaller bag into the new form factor, the new shape, and design cues. So yeah, basically take the Evo bag. It's 18 inches wide. Cut it in half. Boom, you're down to 9. It might be 10 inches, right? Because we pick up some of the manufacturing width. So it's about 10 inches wide. The same 13-inch height as the standard go bag. It has the molly webbing on it. It's got more Velcro on the back because it has a landing spot for the Go Bag Mini, which the Go Bag Mini is a single bag that is the size of one of the paint trays, just a little bit bigger than one of the paint trays. And it will replace one of the paint trays inside the main Go Bag. So if you had the big Go Bag and you just wanted to carry up to 48 paints, plus a miniatures case holding models, and then still have all the back storage and the front workstation, you'll be able to just buy the Go Bag Mini and carry it in your Go Bag Evo. However, you could buy the tentative working name is the Go Bag Neo, and it's the mid-size one, and then you can put a mini right on the back, so it just becomes thicker, and it'll hold miniatures and 48 paints, plus have the storage underneath for a brush vault, and a small storage compartment in the back too. So basically everything from the main one scaled down.
Sounds like you're trying to sell a car, and it makes me laugh.
Instead of having a back seat, it just has a storage compartment, but it goes a lot faster.
The Evo model does not come equipped with these sort of features. For that, you'll have to go with the...
Broken Chef says, good feeling to finish a project. Isn't it, though?
Yes, this does.
Congrats on finishing. I don't believe in finishing models.
That's true.
I think it sets a really bad precedent. Because then if you finish models, you feel like every time you start a model, you got to finish that one too. And we can't be having that around here.
I finish all the models. I'm finished models all the time.
So
K1919.
nobody
like
likes to
Jason.
try hard, Jordan.
I'm not trying very hard. I'm just doing.
Braggart.
A whole lot of doing over here, not a whole lot
Braggart.
of trying.
Checked luggage for people that can't fathom not having the option of every color. Big Bob, it's staring at me. So yeah, you should see more info coming on the other Go Bags and Go Bag accessories in the coming months. I don't believe they'll be available by end of the year. We've kind of run that calendar out. So probably more like Q1 next year.
If you never finish a model, no one can criticize your work as it's still WIP. Here you go.
You can criticize plenty.
Good held, we were made for each other. People can walk up and say, hey, you missed a spot. I'm not even done.
I'm not done.
Not even done.
Give me a break. Jeez.
These are just sloppy base coats.
And you just ask how long you've been working on it?
Yeah, some amount of time.
I'm a very busy person.
I'm a busy person. I got lots to do.
Sounds an awful lot like too long to me.
I can't just sit around painting all the time.
You can.
Work smart, not hard. I'm down. I feel it. My big problem throughout my entire life has been the bright shiny, right? Has been the, ooh, this model's fun, you know?
Yep.
But then there's a little owl that you'll find, right? And if you find a little owl, which I don't know where my owl is, that's very
He's gone.
disconcerting.
Has he been kidnapped?
Did somebody steal my owl?
He's
I can
gone
see
forever.
it. I can see it right in front.
Did somebody steal my owl?
It's not right in front. I feel like I can see. Like I can see it right in front of. Under your...
It is right in front of
Yes, I'm like I
Like,
can see it from
literally-
here.
like,
I have terrible eyes,
literally-
but I could see that feather.
I don't know how I missed that. But every now and then you'll get like a bright shiny, and you'll look and you'll be like, ooh, and so that will distract you from the other project that you were working on prior to said owl, you know, which may or may not have been a big rhinoceros with a railgun on his shoulder. And the railgun rhinoceros may have distracted you from a prior project, which may or may not have been Morgana Le Fay from Mindworks, who might have distracted you from a prior project that may or may not have been Dante
No, it was the.
for your Blood Angel, who may or may not have distracted you from another project called the Death Knight. Right? And I think the Death Knight I picked up like soon after, I don't know, they all distracted me from the Shinobi. So my whole life is nothing but just one distraction after another.
Except Horus,
Horus,
who's done.
yeah, because we had a limited time frame. I need rules and confines to
Okay.
finish models.
I can make those for you.
Unfortunately, you don't have that. You don't wield that power, sir.
You are correct. You are correct.
That is too much power to allow one man to wield, so we don't give that away easily. We don't give that away easily. On the Horus one, we had to agree to it. I didn't even force it on you. I mean, I kind of did by buying the models, but
Yes.
but you agreed
I did.
that that would be fun.
I did.
I would not have just said, Jordan, you know what we're doing? Painting Horus. Grin and bear it, heretic.
Well, you know what the cool part is now that Kyle is here, I'm much more incentivized to have that whole project done so I can put him on the table.
Oh, he wants to try to beat King Kyle
Oh,
at his own game.
beating has nothing to do with it. That man is going to destroy me.
Can next month's challenge be Fuse has to finish at least 2 models?
Oh,
So that means
dang.
that none of you guys can win prizes.
Yeah.
Because that has nothing to do with
What's
you
my
guys.
prize? Because I guarantee I can do that.
Pat on the back.
You're still forgetting, and I will own this for as long as I live, that
It's
I
on-
painted 47 mechs,
They're right there.
47 battle mechs in less than a month. So let's not get it twisted here.
He's done painted a lot of stuff, guys.
So much so that somebody made a comment on that video that showed up this weekend that was reviewing Staley from House, whatever he calls himself, Tale of Painters.
Yeah.
Reviewed Pro Acryl. You should go check out his video on YouTube. It's pretty good. He gets some stuff wrong, but it's still pretty good. I have to drop that in there.
Yeah.
It's true.
None of these influencers get away scot-free. But it's a pretty good video. And in the comments section, somebody goes, well, you have to understand the owner makes the paints the way he wants to make the paints. And he likes mech models better than GW models. It was good. It was a good comment overall, but the specifics of how he said he likes mech models more than other models, I go, I mean, I like BattleTech, but I don't paint a lot of mechs.
And does that have to
I just
do-
happen to paint. He probably tuned into our show when I was painting 47
Yeah.
of them.
We did
Yeah.
nothing but paint those and talk about it for like.
Yeah,
a
so he
month.
probably came in at a time where he got introduced to the show when that was, and it made me remember. It's like, oh yeah, like somebody who just joined up and found our Twitch while I was painting BattleTech might think that old guy only paints battle mechs.
Yep.
It's
true.
Deathspawn says the prize is 2 finished minis. Why you? I oughta.
Not a way to
Hey
get
man,
him.
like the day that we sat here and showed off the not an oil wash sampling to you,
That was awesome.
right? I mean, that model's damn near done. Like instantaneously damn near done. Right?
Memory Gardens was just watching the old BattleTech streams and just bought a start set.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Awesome. We had a lot of fun during all that.
Yeah,
And I
we
mean, I say to you, sir, that I believe, right, that Percival Chevalier, first of his name, Destroyer of Ankles, is what I would consider to be done until such a point that he is placed upon a pile of bodies, and we can take him to the final. Because I don't want to paint his feet, because I have a feeling they're going to break when I cut him off of here. And I'm not going to finish his sword until I get the bodies done, and I know what kind of like bloody remnants to put on the sword. So you say not done, but he's as done as could possibly be.
for right now.
with the resources available.
He should have. Tim says he should have come a month sooner when all you talked about was GW lore.
It really does
Tim's
depend
still
on the
sore
day.
that I go on these rants about the Horus Heresy. Tim's like, that's when I tune out, or I'll wreck my truck. Spat's not. The paint challenge is helping with your model finishing. That's awesome.
Awesome.
I think the challenges are really good ways to do it. I mean, that's really what the Horus thing was for Baby J and I, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is being able to, have a goal set. And even though I don't know that there was anything specific that we were doing that was different, other than just painting the same model.
Yeah, I mean,
to see what the difference was at the end.
Yeah.
You know.
None of us won anything. Except for bragging rights.
It was a tie. So you didn't even get that.
He didn't even finish it, so I'm not worried.
I did. Hey, look. The world voted.
They didn't have all the right information.
They saw the miniature. I
They
wasn't hiding
saw
anything.
what you showed them when I
wasn't
pointed
hiding
out that
anything.
you didn't finish it.
I wasn't hiding anything. There was no hiding to be had on my side of the table.
You slow fuse finished your apothecary. There is no shame in that. By the way, there is no shame in finishing like slow fuse.
Someone earlier asked if this was Diablo, and the answer is yes, right?
It's kind of a knockoff of him, right? It's not specific. We were looking at like the art, and the Asmodan real art has got more of a really like dramatic jaw, mouth region and all that. But yeah, I mean, you can tell where the influence came from for sure. The legs and even the tabard and all that kind of stuff is exactly.
Hi, Gabe.
I will also say to everyone in chat that if you want Jason to start finishing more models, that means he'll have less time to make paint and develop new cool products.
Huh? Oh, okay.
So you gotta pick.
He's stealing Percival. That's not what you do. You be careful with him.
Yeah.
He's having fun with his new toy.
I mean, I would be having fun with the new toy too. You're me.
Dave's like a kid on Christmas.
Are you him? How can you say that, Death Spawn? You're not Jason. You don't know what is involved.
He just thinks I don't do anything.
Were you here, Avian, earlier when he was showing new paint?
Avian's like, nope. Missed that part. Showed new paints. Showed some new tools. It was a good tease day today. For a brief minute or two.
Dang, you should have saved it for Tuesday and called it Tease Day.
I won't be here tomorrow.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I wasn't going to be here today, but then I got informed on Saturday during a conversation with the person one of the people I'm having the meeting with, is that I thought it was today, but it's not. It's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I have a meeting I have to go. I just kind of made like wings.
Those look like angel wings.
So yeah, I won't be on the stream tomorrow because I have an all-day meeting, 8 to 4.
Ooh, duh.
Wah, wah.
Is it in the office or are you going to be...
No, I'm off-site.
Oh, okay. That's good to know, actually.
No, Death Spawn.
Ooh, I wonder if we can
he
get a
needs to
guest
finish
this
models,
week.
he's going to need more time to finish the models, which means he has to sacrifice the time for something else.
As a wizard, I claim the right that I finish whenever I feel like it.
Wizard is never late.
Never late.
I think that's exactly how that works. That's how time works. He does walk the dog on the treadmill. Just because he doesn't go out of the house to take the dog for a walk, she still has to be tended.
I love that damn treadmill.
She likes it too.
She's really got her speed up on that damn
Yeah.
thing.
She gets lazy though.
She does. She goes really fast and then she sits.
She just
She
sits
did
down.
it. She did it the other day, and she was going really fast, and then she just stopped, and it goes. She goes with the momentum to the back until it's like pulling her forward again.
And then it makes her stop.
That's hilarious.
She's so funny. I don't think she quite understands that she's working so hard, but nothing's moving. She's not really going anywhere. She gets
Yeah.
that look on her face and looks around like, why isn't the world moving? Usually when I do this, things go by faster. It's hard to fool, that one.
Omicron Samurai said, watching you guys paint and the way the brush doesn't bend makes me think I need to work on my technique. We talk about that a lot. That, especially when we talk about synthetic brushes, that tip curl comes if you're heavier handed and you're causing the brush to bend when you when it touches the model.
I will tell you this, that it's nothing to be worried about if you have a heavier hand. I call it a heavy or a light hand. You don't have to be worried if you have a heavier hand. You just have to understand what the ramifications of that are and adjust your techniques and your understanding of what your painting style is going to look like at the end. Because a heavier hand means thicker lines applied every time you touch the brush to the model. So doing fine detailing, if you have a very heavy hand, is going to be a little bit rougher. So getting to use the side of the brush for edge highlighting rather than trying to use the tip of the brush to do your edge highlighting, because the heavier the hand, the more chunky your highlights are going to be. So getting to use the side doesn't matter as much, and reducing the amount of paint on your brush. That's why I take a lot of paint off on my thumb before I touch the brush. I have less paint on the brush, so I can press harder, get less paint on the model, right? But more consistent output. So brush technique is a very, what's the way to say this? It's an elusive beast in the sense that it changes artist to artist. So telling you how to use your brush is something that can be counterproductive to you actually becoming a better artist if you're told to hold it a certain way and all of this. I think if there's one thing that I've told people year over year is that make sure that you're not really clamping down tight grip on your brush. You know, I don't know how many people here have ever played sports or whatever, but you know, you're gripping the stick too tight or gripping the bat too tight is a term we always used to use in baseball and hockey. And if you grip something too tight, your motor skill at controlling that device, whatever it is you're holding on to that tight, goes way down, because most of your most of your muscles are so like clamped on that you don't have that same range of motion anymore for using it, right? So if you're gripping the bat too tight, your swing's not going to be good. Same with golf clubs. And so you got to be able to be relaxed and use the muscles for what they're good for, which is being able to control it through the golf swing or the bat swing or the hockey stick swing or the brush stroke, right? And so I've taught classes before where I'll see somebody like that and I'll walk up and say, stop what you're doing, and they'll stop, and I'll try to pull the brush out, and not only will instinctively you try to grab onto it so that it doesn't leave your hand, but you can just tell, because you know, when somebody's gripping the brush tight, you'll see, right, the blood vessels kind of desaturate around here where you're pressing really tight, and then you go back and your fingertip turns pink again, right? But you'll see that. And when you're gripping really tight, I think sometimes the notion is that you'll have a heavier hand press. And so just, you know, I should always be able to take the brush right out of your hand as you're painting, right? You should just be able to grab it and have it come out. So don't ever grip the brush tightly. You want to be able to make sure that when you hit the model, it doesn't like swivel around and move. But brush control and the technique you use is something that you'll find your own comfort with, but it's a balancing act, because if you're looking at someone who's painting like Jordan or myself and you're seeing a particular result, then brush control is part of how that result occurs. It's not just the paint you use. It's not just how thin it is. It's also in how you're attacking the model with the brush. And so you have to, it's good that you're looking at that saying, hey, I might need to adjust what I'm doing, because all of a sudden you're seeing, right, what is different in the application that might be holding you back from achieving some result that you've seen out on the internet or wherever that you really like. And so a lot of times that's really where you ought to focus your questioning is, you know, hey, how thin did you use the paint when you did it? Things like that. The consistency of the paint are all very important. You know, but more so like, hey, when you're doing your brush stroke, you know, I notice you're painting away from yourself. Why? You know, and it's because, oh, that flicks the brush and feathers and gets me that texture better. You know, those kind of nuances are things that you got to pick up by, you know, watching it happen. Because a lot of times artists won't even know to tell you. You know?
It's such an intuitive part about like how we naturally paint that it's not something that we think about doing. Or think about explaining, I should say.
Spatsnet said, what about a Monument silicone dry palette like people are using the Pop It toys for?
Pop It toys? I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Just a silicone dry palette.
So silicone is something that we've looked at as a surface. We're looking at acrylic and silicone for dry palettes. I know that some companies have come out with like dry, because you can just go to China and buy silicone, what are they?
Sheets.
No. It's like
Coasters.
watercolor mixing,
Oh.
you know.
Oh, sure.
They have little
sure.
wells in them for mixing
Yeah.
paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw another company in our space release something like that that's just repackaged. So, you know, because, I forget who it was. It might have been Uncle Adam. Showed a video where he said repurposing things, and it almost looked like a silicone mold for ice cubes or
Yeah.
something, right? And so he had it, and he was mixing paint in it, and then he just popped the little bottom of it out because it's flexible, and the paint all peeled off, and
Right.
it was back to being usable. So silicone is obviously a very good way to do that, and works great. I don't like mixing in wells like that because I can't easily pull paint from one well to another. So I like a flat, like my piece of glass.
Mm-hmm.
But we've looked at like a silicone overlay for a palette or something like that we might offer. Fidget popper, yeah, something like that, right? Okay, good, Harold. Yeah, so similar thing. Yeah. Stop being the bull in the china shop. Well, no, paint how you're comfortable painting is my thing. Right? Don't change the way you paint unless the way you paint won't give you the end goal that you're looking for, right? Because then you do need to adjust how you're doing it, right? You can be a very fast runner. This is something that a coach told me a long time ago. You can be very fast over a long distance and still lose every race because you're not adjusting for getting up to speed quicker, right? Or you may not be able to, so adjust by moving to a different race, you know? Run the 200 meter instead of the 100, right? And so in that regard, it's the same with painting. If you're trying to reach this end goal and you're consistently missing it because too much texture, too many brush strokes shown on your model, then it may be that you need to lighten your hand. You need to be hitting the model with less force with every paint stroke. And so that's something you can practice and definitely get better at. You can change. But it's not something you have to do. If you're happy with the way you paint, you're happy with the way your models turn out, don't change anything.
Yeah.
Don't look at somebody who says, oh, you got to paint with a very light brush stroke in order to get these things done. No, you don't. You're doing it without doing that, right? So it is very subjective. But you know, obviously be honest with yourself and say, hey, you know, I want my models to progress to another level. I want them to be like this thing that I'm seeing. And then start asking questions both to yourself and on the internet and here about how do I get my model to look like this, you know, which is a dangerous question because a lot of times there's a lot involved. Yeah, just glass palette. Soap, water. Actually, if we just drop the palette into we have a 5-gallon bucket in the warehouse that just has simple green in it or Fabuloso. It has Fabuloso in it, and it just sits there. And I just agitate the water a bit. It suds up, and I drop the palette in it. And I come back in the morning, and literally, you take a paint scraper and you go zhoot, and you get the whole thing, which was over here at one point. But yeah, you just get this big art project, but you soak it overnight. If you try to run it underwater or something, acrylic's a pain in the butt to get off. So soak it first.
All right. I think this guy's done.
Awesome.
I repainted him. I'm sorry.
That was like 8 times.
Yeah, but he's done.
Well, he's not done.
Well, his base needs to be done.
Where's the freehanding on the shield?
I'm used decal. Are you okay?
I gotta take a minute, chat. paint to train and
Fine.
excel on techniques is something that is more or less not talked about
Be that.
and can give you so much. Definitely. Yep. We talk a lot in terms of the model we're painting and the method we're applying the paint to the model we're painting, and that's why I've always said as an instructor is that be careful of that, both as an instructor and as a student, that you're looking as a student, open your eyes to the broader sense of what's being said and not necessarily the specifics of that model. Because a lot of times you'll get done with a class or something and you'll know how to do whatever it is that you were taught to do on that particular model, but you'll look at your next model that has totally different shapes and be completely lost. So a good way to look at it is, when he's saying this, think about the 50,000 foot view of what they're saying. We generally in painting miniatures come back to the control of light, the application of light to the model in a fake sense, because we're painting light that doesn't exist, to give it the nuance and the volumes that, tell the story that we want to tell. But just be careful not to get lost and all that. And then the physical techniques, right? Is something that is very important. How to hold the brush, how to move the brush, how to control the consistency of the paint. Those are, easily 50%. I tend to want to say those are more like 75% of what your style and your ultimate painting technique will end up being, right? Because that's you, right? The physical part of it is what you offer. Now, your brain offers the creativity as well, so it does play a portion. But it's easily 50-50 on that. You won't be saved by making great color choices and great light placement choices if you're a sloppy painter. Unless that's the goal. And by sloppy, I just mean like, chunkier brushstrokes. You'll see me do that sometimes with base coats and stuff where I want more texture on a model. Something like this, right? When we painted Cosmo, if you remember, we did this in an hour and 10 minutes or something like that. Just to show off being able to do, a weird, otherworldly kind of glow and light placement. These were all big, chunky brush strokes and got it done super fast. But that's a style that's going to be presented on the model, too. And no amount of correct color or light placement is going to save you from the chunkiness of your paint at that point. So make that the goal, if that's what you're doing. Don't expect that, one will, kind of correct for the other. And like I said, just be aware of what your painting style is going to naturally give you at the end of the day, and adjust and learn. And eventually you'll have enough tools at your disposal in your knowledge base that you can make the model feel the way you want it to. And that's kind of when you start to really find your way as a painter, right? When you can pick up any model and look at it and decide, let the model speak to you. I know this is hippy dippy stuff, but let the model speak to you, and then you filter back on it through your techniques how you want it to look, as opposed to the being locked into a style that makes every model look very, very similar, right? Having that flexibility and that knowledge will have you have a lot more fun painting, but it's also why I said don't feel like you have to do something a particular way. So freehand a slow fuse face on the shield makes it Jason of Sigmar. Yeah, there you go. D-chat, through the simple application of mockery, you too can force freehand on a shield. Decals. Not in my house!
Well, I work in your house, so if you say no decals, no decals. So it works. Hey, I'm a respectful inhabitant of this here facility.
Of this here residence. Monday strikes again, rush hour traffic in Connecticut in the rain. Your favorite stuff.
Omicron, did you have a question you were waiting on? Oh, yeah, you're gonna have to go back and watch that VOD.
I think he does this on purpose.
He's not the only one.
I think they do it to me on purpose.
Despon definitely does it on purpose.
I'm going to ask a
does it
very
too.
detailed question that has great ramifications in the world of painting, and then immediately take this phone call. Hey, I didn't hear you answer my question. Rat bastages. Rat bastages.
Yeah, Tim's having a Monday. There was a load in his truck that wasn't scheduled for a drop-off. And it was mixed in with other stuff, it sounds like, and he didn't know it was there, and put him behind, and gonna take it, but something happened, and now he has to take it back to Pennsylvania, and he's not gonna get home tonight.
Tim.
And it's raining, but it's sunny at home, but he can't get home.
I guess that's tough. I guess I never really thought about that as far as staging in a trailer. How do you audit that at the beginning of the run to make sure that everything is staged properly? You just go by the deck, like the dock manager tells you? Or did you load it? I assume you don't load your own truck, right?
Assume not. Since none of the drivers
Omicron's like, it was an honest mistake.
None of the drivers that we have delivering ever know anything about what's in there. And they never help us.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. Omicron, I'm just jacking with it. But you should go back and watch the VOD because I think it's a good discussion. They've got scanners. You just drive.
And it would be probably like, I mean, you could probably go in an hour and a half into the VOD and find your answer.
Oh, yeah, it was here at the tail end. Last 20 minutes.
Hi, Omicron.
It's like if you know how to make it rain, wash your car.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the big
You know
thing
how to get
here.
a phone call or get disturbed?
Ask
a question in Monument Chat that you really want the answer to. Guaranteed life will throw a rock at you.
Despon,
Hey.
watch the VOD. Because I know that's not a real question.
Hashtag watch the VOD.
I'm coming for you, Deathspawn. He saw the rest of my pleasantness exit my body.
All the pleasantness went away. It was replaced by frustration and anger.
Frustration and anger. Ah!
Jordan, you keep going off.
I'm
screen.
so sorry.
I don't know. Did you zoom in again? Maybe you're too close.
Yeah, probably.
Wrong spot.
I'm trying to do the whole painting upside down thing. I can't recommend it. It doesn't work very well.
Makes all the blood rush to your head. It's not a good idea.
Yep. Don't hang me by my toes, please. I wouldn't have toes anymore.
Not a good idea. Ooh.
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 Ooh. Oh, fluorescence? Or is this just orange?
No, it's fluorescence.
Nice.
$155.
155.
Check.
This guy has a zombie head inside of his pole.
Ooh.
Very weird.
But they're the good guys.
I don't think anybody's a good guy. It might be the whole shtick.
That's just too easy.
These guys are probably supposed to be the goodest of guys. But definitely there is a zombie head poking in here. So, yeah. Don't know what that's about. A little odd. I have to admit. Wouldn't have been my first choice for decorative additions. But sure, yeah, I guess.
Whatever floats your boat.
I didn't pick it.
I mean,
I know I kind of did. But only like kind of.
makes orange glowy eyes super simple.
The fluorescents.
Yeah.
They're really good, man. Oh yeah, those look awesome.
like
Holy cow.
instantaneous.
Yes, Despon, do it. You're out tomorrow, but you will be back on Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Excellent. I promise I won't make too much of a mess while you're gone.
Oh, I know better.
What do you mean?
I know better. I'm gonna mix them.
Broken Chef.
Let's get crazy.
Have a good day.
Good afternoon.
PK 1919. Same to you.
Record another horror movie podcast.
That sounds fun.
good. I actually saw a horror movie. I can't wait to check out. I'm because of my belief in the ineptitude of Hollywood recently. I don't know that I will actually enjoy it much. But the new Exorcist, they're reviving in a more true, I think, sequel idea for The Exorcist many years later. It has the same woman counselor that first came to visit Reagan in the original movie. She's not
Same
much
character.
older. Huh?
Same character, not the same.
No, it's the same
actual
actress. It's the same actress.
Holy cow.
She looked good.
No.
I don't remember what her name is.
He said they're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The New Generation.
Oh God.
Yeah, I like if I have my druthers for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Obviously, the original takes the cake, but the one that had Justin Timberlake's wife in it,
Jessica Biel.
Jennifer Biel.
Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
Jennifer Beals was in Flashdance.
Same thing.
No.
Same thing. That one I thought was really good. There's been like others though, so.
I am not into horror movies.
Yeah, neither is Jen, so. And neither am I for like jump scare horror movies.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I like psychological horror a lot.
Yes, I would agree with that. I do the same.
So like Dark Waters, if you've never seen Dark Waters, good one.
Let the Right One In.
There you go.
Is a good one for me.
A little bit of yellow mixed with the orange. I mean, that's just too easy, guys.
Uh-huh.
Too easy. A little
Fluorescent
bit of white,
paints are
a
looking
little bit of
good.
orange, then a little bit of white, and then a little bit of yellow with the orange. Bingo. I'd be okay with that. It's early 2000s, I think, right? Yeah. I don't know that anybody else that was in it was somebody I knew.
For Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Arlie Ermy, is that his name? The guy that's you would know him. He's like the drill instructor guy. I think he passed away this last year.
I don't. What are you talking about?
Ex-Marine. He was an actor. Is that his name?
For,
He was the guy from Full Metal Jacket.
oh, I don't know.
He's been the best drill instructor in every drill instructor.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
It's like
He's like the drill
Arlie
instructor.
Ermy or something like that.
Lee Emery.
Yeah, he was the cop dude. He was the
magic.
cop in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The one that he was not really a cop. It was the son who had donned the uniform and was taking all the people to the place to die. Gunny, yeah. Major Payne was the best drill instructor. I don't listen to anything you say about popular culture, Tim. You like He-Man.
Wow.
Dang.
Tell him how you really feel.
Because I can actually remember, like, I think watching He-Man cartoons.
Yeah.
That was a very distant past thing.
That was Masters of the Universe, right? Is that He-Man?
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, yes. Is
And
it
She-Ra,
Masters of the Universe?
the Princess of
I
Power.
think so.
I feel like that's right.
That
Tim will
sounds
know.
right.
He's just painted 50 million of them.
Is it Masters of the Universe?
By the power of Grayskull.
Everybody's missing what we say.
The Pope's Exorcist
the
was
VOD.
pretty good. That had the Pope's Exorcist had
that
Russell
was
Crowe.
Russell Crowe, yeah.
I kind of wanted to watch that one too.
I haven't
I
watched
really
that.
like the Exorcist religious horror ones. I liked the Seventh Sign. Not really a horror in the same sense of exorcism and stuff, but that one was pretty good. I like those existential religious,
Like Constantine? Not quite as
no,
horror.
Constantine is tongue in cheek with the religion part of it.
But
Yes,
I
I
like
like Constantine
Constantine
as
a
a
lot.
comic book. The movie was okay.
Do you hear they're making another one?
As long as they do it better and not big stupid crossbow guns and stuff, I might.
He's going to be in it again.
I think that he, as a matured actor, would much rather prefer playing the real Constantine as opposed to
Yes.
what they did the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, fun movie, but the best part of that movie was Satan. I
100%.
don't know who that guy's name is, but him walking around barefoot in
Yeah.
glass and stuff with
His
amazing.
name is very Eastern European.
She-Ra
I don't
is the
know.
Princess of Power. Gotcha.
That's what I
He-Man and
said.
She-Ra. I just remember because they all had like fun names. They had I forget what the soldier's name was.
Is
now.
it just Peter Stormare?
Peter Stormare? Is it?
Oh.
I wouldn't know. You could say that guy's name and I wouldn't know. He's been in movies that I've really, really liked, but
He's been in all sorts of stuff.
in that movie as Satan, fantastic. Also, the androgynous Gabriel was fantastic. It's
That's not Gwendolyn Christie.
last thing I remember seeing her in was
Oh,
Sandman.
I know who you're
She
talking
was,
about.
huh?
I know who you're talking about, and I can't remember her name.
Yeah, she was basically the Lord of the Underworld in Sandman. Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton, yeah.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton. Yeah, she was awesome in that too.
Oh.
Lumberjack
Alrighty,
Tim.
thank you for the follow.
Lore dump.
Didn't want to thank you,
Mm-mm.
but thank you for the follow.
I did think.
No,
Thank you for the follow.
the bot. It
Oh.
just went.
Bot's a little slow.
It went. And then it stopped.
Bot's taking a day off.
Yeah.
It's been doing that for a long time.
Yes.
It like gets hung up. Sometimes it says it all. Mostly it just goes meh, and then it stops.
I might need to like upload all of the files that it plays to Streamlabs. Maybe they're corrupt in Streamlabs or something. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
That's way more information than any human needs to know that He-Man and She-Ra are brother and sister.
Hey, I was pretty proud that I knew
Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the Universe and She-Ra, Princess of Power.
He always plays a wonderful villain. What else has he been in that I would remember?
The guy from who plays
Satan
Satan
from Constantine.
He plays the bad guy in the second John Wick movie.
I haven't seen but the first one, so.
Well, he's
Is
the bad
there
guy in the
something-
second one.
What's that?
Is there a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Because I just opened up.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah, somebody's
there's
playing
a
it.
stream for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
There's been like 3 or
Soda
4
poppin'.
of them. Oh, Soda Poppin' is
Yeah.
playing a video game called the Texas Chainsaw
Oh, it's a
Massacre.
video game?
That's what you're looking at?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking at right
Yeah,
there.
probably a
There's a
video
new
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, new game. There you go. He was in Fargo. Oh, that's right. He was the bigger one that got... Did he shove the other guy in the wood chipper
Oh,
in Fargo?
I don't know.
those
What,
guys?
I didn't watch it.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
I think he had. I can remember him with the side ear flap thing, and I think he's the one that shoved what's his nuts in the wood chipper.
Sounds like something that a character.
Steve Buscemi. He put Steve Buscemi in the wood
Buscemi.
chipper. Yeah. How funny. Muses touch. What's going on?
Hey, somebody likes us.
See, that time it said the whole thing.
He's in the Big Lebowski. Really?
Wait, really?
Was he like one of the rough 'em up guys for the? Oh, he's the nihilist in Lebowski. Right. Oh, it's an asymmetric PvP like Dead Before Dawn or whatever it is, where you have to go around
What's
and
his name?
the murderer tries to, kill him. Tucker and Dale versus Evil is one of the worst movies ever made. Period, Mo.
Worse than The Room?
I could not watch 15 minutes of Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It was so bad.
Worse than The Room. 'Cause that movie is horrible.
What is The Room?
The
The one that I know about The Room is the one that we saw where it was the mother.
The
Held
woman who's
hostage, had a
kidnapped.
kid.
That's
No.
just called Room.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
called
The Room is the one with
Is that the James Franco one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Matthew
yeah.
McConaughey is in the 1995 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, well.
Say what name?
That one wasn't that bad, I didn't think.
Jade, what's going on? You showed it right at the end. It's 2:08. It's quitting time.
It's good. We got stuff to do. I got stuff.
Quitting time. I painted eyes. That's what
I finished a guy who should have been finished a long time ago. And then I started this guy, who will be done tomorrow. And then...
Yeah, he's not in the Jessica Biel one. Right.
Is he? I decided to go with a game plan that's a lot quicker and easier to do, so I can actually get the project done. That's where I'm at.
Oh, yeah. I painted
Yeah.
some eyes and gave some really amazing advice, but Omicron Samurai wouldn't know it.
Tommy Wiseau. There we go. Yeah, the
Yeah.
name did not come to me.
Oh,
I
well,
thought
it's like one of those that's lauded as the worst movie ever made.
Well, the
Yeah.
movie.
They
it's
went
the
and made a
that
movie
he-
about the making.
Yes.
We watched that one.
We
That had
watched
James
that one,
Franco
yes.
in it.
The actual movie is terrible.
The one that they made the movie about the making of the movie was okay.
It was not bad.
It was not bad.
Yeah.
It was not something I'd go back and watch
It was
again. but-
interesting, and yeah, it kind of made me want to watch
Velocipaster.
the original, but I never did.
It's like Velocipaster. So like Velocipaster and like Sharknado are just movies that don't even get my attention because I know they're not serious from the beginning. So those I just don't even rank. But enough people told me about the whatever Tucker and Dale versus Evil and about how great it was that I tried to watch it. I even shuffled through like the part that I couldn't watch to like the midpoint and was like, nah, this is just garbage. Like I don't even understand what it is. How did this get greenlit? It's so bad.
It's a good question. A lot of movies get greenlit that should never be greenlit.
Which is the room in the hotel that's haunted?
That's Room. Not The Room.
No,
It says
Room
1308.
is not-
There's a lot of those.
Room
Oh, I
is-
guess there are.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of those, but
Yeah,
yeah, there's
okay.
ones that have like the room number is the title.
Yeah.
And
Room is Captain Marvel, whatever her name is,
Oh, shoot.
Brie Larson,
Yeah, Brie Larson.
and she's
Omicron's like, I like Tucker and Dale.
was kidnapped and was kept in a room, and her kidnapper gets her pregnant, and she has a baby, and
Yeah.
the
Oh.
kid grows up, and then they
Oh, God.
They called it room.
It's
like
just
the
called
room
Room.
had a personality to them.
Yes.
It was like the only thing she could talk to was the room, and,
and
so
and the kid, yeah, the
the
kid,
kid
had
said room.
room.
And then when they got out, the
Yeah.
room was like part of their life because it's all
Yeah.
the kid had ever known. It was
Yeah.
it was a very philosophical movie because it was like if you don't know anything other than your surroundings and then you're let out into the bigger world, how does that
Yeah.
work?
Agoraphobia. Probably.
Possibly. Possibly. Yeah, but it was very impactful. Definitely impactful. I will be the last one to tell you that I am like a what would you say, like an enjoyer of all movies.
A movie
I am
buff?
not that guy. I am not that guy.
Not a
I
movie
am
buff?
very pinpoint, like laser focused on what I think is going to be right for me, and I have no problem
Me too.
missing out on everything else.
I miss most.
We don't get along very well with regards to watching movies because her laser pinpoint focus is a completely 180
Totally
degrees out
different.
from mine. I'm like, you know what you would like? 2001: A Space Odyssey, and she just glazes over
I haven't seen that.
her.
Should I watch it?
know.
Do you think I would like it?
I don't ever recommend anybody watches 2001: A Space Odyssey unless we have sat down and talked about hard sci-fi at length, because it's a hard watch for normal humans.
Have we not?
I don't think so. It takes a long time to get where it's going.
Sure.
But once you've seen it, it's one where you go back and you realize all the things that happened from start to finish that led you to where you got. So it's like a watch twice or 3 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, very slow burn. Yeah, very, very slow burn. Don't
I
watch
like
any of
slow
the rest of
burns.
them. Don't watch 2010. Don't watch whatever the hell the other one was they tried to make. Don't watch any of the rest of them. 2001 is the only thing you need to know. GVD Minis, Tucker and Dale is great. It's a satire, not a serious horror movie. Well, yeah, but so was the zombie one with that's so good.
Zombieland?
No, that one was not so good. It was okay.
Which
I think the Bill Murray part is the only part that I
Oh.
remember out of that
Yeah,
one. Right.
that's in the second one.
The British one. It's like the first zombie satire movie.
Like Night of the
Oh.
Living Dead?
Oh,
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the
Oh,
Dead.
yeah, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
See, Shaun of the Dead, brilliant.
Great. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Hilarious.
But if you want to, but for me, people said, did you like Shaun of the Dead? You'll love Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Not true. Not true. Totally different movies. Did they make a third movie for the 2001? Yeah.
I mean, the guys from Shaun of the Dead are just fantastic comedians. They're just funny.
Yeah. It was the right kind of irreverent for me. You know, it was like why did this happen in my day? Kind of a thing, you know? I love it. Anyway.
Delightful.
Ad Astra was such a boring movie. I don't know that I know it. Would I know it? What is Ad Astra?
What is?
It sounds funny.
I think isn't that the one where it's like in space and there's like somebody who's, I think like, there's a well-known actor that is in it. Can't remember.
All right, gang, we're out of here. We'll
Yeah.
talk movies next time.
Yes.
So hold that thought.
And next time, Wednesday.
It is Wednesday for me. if
He's
you want me
not
here.
going to be here. We can talk movies tomorrow.
I am not here.
Brad
tomorrow.
Pitt. Yeah, I think Brad Pitt's in that one.
I am not here mañana. Got an all-day meeting, so I'll miss tomorrow's stream. But I will be back on Wednesday. So treat Jordan nicely tomorrow, or as mean as you want to be. You know,
Come at
I'll
me,
be
chat.
here too, so
make sure
like maybe be nice to both of us.
be nice to
Well,
Jen.
you always be nice to Jen.
and
Sometimes you can be nice to me.
jury's out on Jordan. So
Such is life.
make sure to click on the links that Jen popped up there. The store, obviously the Discord. We'd love to have you join our community over on Discord. And then the FLGS link will take you to the local dealers close to your area where you can buy Monument products. Thank you all for your support in both watching the stream and in trying our amazing stuff that we make.
And again, I will be here. So Clarkatron, you'd be disappointed.
I can't believe all the giveaways that happen tomorrow. Oh, but that's not.
You can't believe
I
it's
mean,
not butter?
you might surprise me, but I'm going to put my money on Nope for that one. But, you know,
Hey,
weirder
Jen, how do you
things have
feel about
happened. Not going to
giveaways
lie.
tomorrow?
Nope.
Weirder
None.
things have happened. Jen could step out for a minute. Jordan could give away a lot of stuff.
If someone wants to give away some money to Monument Hobbies, we will give away some product in return. That's how that works.
But thanks, guys. Remember, we stream 5 days a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like today, we do our hobby lunch. So it's 12 noon to 2 p.m. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, the 2 p.m. slot to 5 p.m. So 5 chances to catch up with us. We'd love to see you back here for as many of those as you can. That's it. We're out.
Exactly.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Smiles,
Gracie.
smiles are free all the time.
I was prepared this time.
Later,
Bye,
gang.
everybody.
Yeah.